All right, so now let's take care of an end screen. And what I would like to do is I would like to add a layer here, which will be slightly transparent, but at the same time will be red. And then we'll have a bit of the text here saying something like game over, round survived, then the amount of rounds, and then a play again button. Okay, so let's go ahead and implement that. Therefore, I'm going to create a new UI element, and that will be a panel here. Like so, and you see now it already has this transparent look, and I'm going to make it something like this red here, where it looks like, okay, well, seems like we're dead. So this will be our end screen. Let me actually put it. So what we could do is either we could make this itself the end screen. So I'm just going to do that, end screen, something like that. And now inside of it, I want to have a text. So here UI text, and let's call this one game over. So this text will be in the middle. I want it to be white text. Okay, it will not be exactly in the middle, but it should say something like game over. And of course it has to be significantly larger. Let's make it centered and overflow towards all directions so we can actually see it. So probably 80 or even more would be better. So maybe something like 100. But then make it bold. Okay, that looks a little better. Let's reposition it. So I'm going to position it further towards the top. Something like, let's say 300 should be fine. Here you can play around with the width and height if you want to. We're using overflow, so it shouldn't be that much of an issue. But still, you can of course set it up to be, let's say 120 for the height, 800 for the width, something like that. Now let's take care of our second text, and I'm going to just duplicate game over. I'm going to rename this rounds survived, and this text will be saying rounds survived, and I'm going to make it smaller, maybe something like 60. I think this should look a little better. Let's position it at 100. Let's see if that's going to be fine. Maybe 150. That looks a little better. Maybe also not bold. Let's see how that's going to look like. Well, maybe we want to leave it bold, but let's use 50 here. Okay, so this will say rounds survived. And now let's duplicate rounds survived, and let's call this one rounds survived num. So this will be the number displaying how many rounds we survived. I'm going to set that to 0 by default, like so. And then let me position it a little lower as well. So maybe not 0, maybe something like, I don't know, 70. I think this should be fine. Maybe we also want to change the font size here so that it will be more obvious. So 80 or even 90. So it's a little bigger. Okay, so that will be our rounds survived text and the number. All right, and then I would like to have a button here as well. So let's create a new button. And that button should be a little lower. So let me first of all change the text of the button and the name of it as well. So replay button is going to be the name of it. I'm going to change the text to something like play again. Let's also change the size of this button. So currently it's at 160/30. So let's use something like 460 maybe. Then let's reposition it. So I'm going to use a Y position of -120, something like that. And the text should also, of course, be bigger now. So let's use 30 here, maybe 40 even. Yeah, 40 seems fine. You could make this button even significantly larger if you felt like it. I'm going to make the text bold to make sure that it's going to be well visible. Okay. Maybe even say something like play again, like that, with 45 as a font size. So this should be good. Okay, now we have the UI, game over, round survived, amount of rounds, and then play again. Now, of course, none of these things do anything, and that's what we're going to change in the next video. So see you there.